I hate this phone. Now, before I tell you why I hate this phone, let's do typical Armando fashion, real world usage, what I like about the phone and what I don't like about the phone. Because you don't need me to tell you specs and stuff like that. You guys can Google that information or, watch another video. So let's go ahead and begin with the things that I like about the new OnePlus 5T. We'll go ahead and start off with the display. This is something new. This is something that we're seeing trends with these edge-to-edge, very tall displays. And personally, I love them. I like these type of displays. Now, this one here is 6-inch. It's a 1080p panel, and that is okay because with 1080p, we're gonna get a little bit better battery life, and I'm okay with that. I don't need a Quad HD display because this one looks really good. The viewing angles are outstanding. There's no color shifts or anything like that, despite it being an AMOLED panel. So kudos to OnePlus for actually nailing it on the display. Now, something else I think that it's worth mentioning is the fact that OnePlus usually always includes a screen protector. It's a nice touch, and I think it's worth mentioning because some people may not be familiar with OnePlus as a company, so I think it's worth noting that. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this new design, and I know some people are gonna say it looks very similar to, iPhone 7 Plus or even Oppo's R11, and you know what? I'm okay with that. Like, I have no complaints just because a phone looks similar to another. I personally like phones that have a curved back. This one has a curved back because take a look. When you hold something, your hand is gonna be curved slightly. So the fact that this is curved makes it a lot more comfortable to hold, which I like. And I've always said this in the past, like the old, Nexus 6, that big Shamu device was a lot easier to hold because it had a curved, back. And I like this on this phone because it's also easier to hold compared to something even like the Google Pixel 2 XL. It also feels a lot more premium than its price point. I mean, this feels nice. It's very comfortable in the hand, and it just feels really well made. Now, there's only one color option. Keep that in mind. They do offer different types of cases and accessories, which I think look great. Personally, my favorite is Sandstone. Kind of throws me back to the original OnePlus, which I was a big fan of. Or you can do what I did. I actually put a D-brand skin on mine. This is the Red Dragon. Tweeted out a picture the other day. You guys loved it. Looks great. Get a lot of compliments on this. And I'll leave a link down below if you guys want to pick one up for your cell phone. And also a huge shout out to D-brand for sponsoring today's video. Now, moving to something that I feel is very important is the camera. The camera on this guy shoots really great pictures. It's also capable of taking really awesome pictures. However, it does have two sensors. The other one is meant more for low light, which in my testing wasn't that great. Kind of suffered a little bit, and I think I was a little bit disappointed with that, mainly because, if the other camera sensor is meant for low light, it didn't really do its job. Personally, I would have rather they do something like the LG G6 or the LG V30, which has, a wider lens. I think I would have preferred something like that. I do think that the camera sensor or the, low light capabilities can improve with software updates, but in my testing, that was not the case. Now, in the video side, the video did really great. It doesn't have OIS, but it does have EIS, which is an electronic stabilization. And you know what? It looks like it's on a gimbal. It looks really great. They did an awesome job. So for what it's worth, if you're gonna shoot pictures, day-to-day stuff, just standard lighting, it's gonna take awesome pictures. In low light, I think that's an area where it didn't do such a great job. And if you compare this, obviously, to the big boy, the Google Pixel 2 XL, obviously it's not as amazing as that, but for its given price point, I think it definitely excels in that department. Something else that they've changed is relocated the fingerprint reader to the back. Now, I've said this in the channel before, I'm a big fan of fingerprint readers being located on the back. And this one here is very comfortable. It's very fast. It's really, really fast. I would almost be tempted to say it's one of the fastest fingerprint readers on any Android phone today. You can also use gestures to, pull down the notifications. Overall, I really like the placement. I've always been a fan of that. Now, something else that they've implemented in terms of security is using your face to unlock the phone. Setup process literally took like 5 seconds, and it is actually scary fast how quickly it does it. You literally just push on the power button and boom, you're there on the phone. Now, of course, it's not gonna be as secure as something like your fingerprint reader, but I've tried to fool it using a picture. I've tried using video. It works really, really good. Obviously not as good in terms of security like something like Apple's, which is gonna use like 3D mapping and stuff like that. But I think for everyday usage, not everybody's a hacker and is gonna try to, use your phone. Now, I know there's gonna be people out there that are not gonna be, 100% sold on that. And that's the thing, you could still use the fingerprint reader on the back. So we have options here. And the cool thing about it, you can actually use both in conjunction. So you can use, the face unlock, or you can use the fingerprint reader. You can use actually both, which I do because at night, face unlock doesn't really work, so that's when I use the fingerprint reader on the back. Now, let's talk about probably one of the most important features of a phone, and that's the software experience. I've said this before, I'm a big fan of stock Android. Now, you don't get stock Android with this, but you get a very close experience like stock Android. I've said this before, I'm not a fan of like TouchWiz and stuff like that, but this is actually very close to vanilla. And this almost feels like I'm using a Google Pixel 2 XL with minor enhancements, which I think are great for the phone experience. You pair that with the Snapdragon 835, buttery smooth, fluid, and including battery life is great on this phone. I mean, it has an AMOLED panel, 1080p display, it's got the Snapdragon, all of the optimizations and tweaks on this phone, no problems there. And if you need to charge the phone really quickly, it does have dash charge, which charges the phone very fast. Something else they've kept, kudos to them, is the 3.5mm headphone jack. And you know what? I'm here to embrace new technology. Personally, I love my AirPods. I love wireless headphones, so I'm cool with that. But it's also nice to pick up an old pair of headphones, plug them in without having to use a stupid dongle. So for what it's worth, thank you for leaving that on there, at least probably for another year or so. So in conclusion, why do I hate this phone? Well, I hate this phone because I spent $1,000 on the Google Pixel 2 XL. That's the thing, contrary to what you guys may believe, like I buy a lot of my phones and however you slice it and dice it, it's $1,000. And after this phone came out, I can't really justify spending $1,000 when this phone is outstanding. However, unless photography is on the top of your list, like you must have the best phone in terms of photography, then yeah, the Google Pixel 2 XL, kind of hard to beat. That machine learning, that whole entire camera system on the Google Pixel 2 and Google Pixel 2 XL is just on a whole different level. But if it's secondary or third, this phone is outstanding. In fact, I'm willing to say it's a top 3, definitely in the top 3 smartphones of 2017. And for $500, great buy. So anyhow, guys, if you guys agree, let me know by giving me a thumbs up and leaving a comment down below. If you disagree, give it a thumbs down, but also let me know why you disagree that this is one of the best phones for its given price point. Follow me on Snapchat, Instagram stories at MondoBytes if you guys want to see behind the scenes. Thanks again for watching, and you will catch me in the next one. Adios.